Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? Happy Thursday to you. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas. Thank you for joining me. We got a good show lined up tonight. I see my pops first out the limo in the chat. How you doing, Dad? Appreciate you. Love you. Kevin, the PRF. Kevin, we're going to answer that question quite quickly. We're going to get right to business. I have a special guest for you this evening. This man has been a friend of mine for a long time. Longer than some, not as long as others. And you guys have heard me say this before. What do you call, how do you justify who is a friend and who isn't? And my logic is this: if you can call somebody and they will call you back and you can have a meaningful conversation, that's a friend. So I would like to introduce my brother on the show, Irving Fryar.
What's going on, man? I do call you back, but I got a different definition of a friend.
Okay.
Mine is a little more, not detailed, but I guess it's a little more serious. So when you go through something, have a tough experience, have a bump in the road, have a pitfall in your life,
right?
And when you get up, the ones that are still around you, the ones that are still there, the ones that still treat you the same, they're your friends.
Okay, I got you.
Friends. Yeah,
I got you. The ones that still hang around and treat you the same. I like that. Yeah. I like that caveat at the end of it.
Treat you the same.
Because sometimes people get new.
Right. Well, you know what? The people who matter, that stuff, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely,
good to be on your show, man. I need to have you do my graphics and the new introduction for my show, man. You got that thing popping.
Let me know, man. Let me know. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. But you was first overall pick, 84, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Patriots. Then you went to the Dolphins. Then you came here to Philly, and then you were in Washington, right?
Yeah, for 2 years. Yeah,
2 seasons. Okay. Looking at the landscape of how things are now, what is the difference between when we played, in your opinion, and what they're doing now?
Are you talking the actual game?
We'll get into the game later.
Okay.
Like I talk a lot about, because I'm doing a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, they make content on, well, this person said that, or this person did this, or did you see what happened? And I'm like, I come from a time, because like now I'm the get off my lawn guy. I'm that guy. You know, I'm the old dude. Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Yeah.
Where you'll understand this. Like if back in the day when a reporter or somebody wrote something that may have been a little off about you, they had to come see you.
Right.
In the locker room.
Right.
Put that little microphone in front of your face and look you in your eye. And you don't have that no more. So everybody's got carte blanche and free reign to say what they want to say with impunity, because ain't nobody gonna check them on.
Right.
So it seems like there's a new dynamic in how people engage and how they doing their business. And it's just it seems like it has gotten out of control. But then I think about, did they say the same? Because you were a few years older than me. I came out, my rookie year was 93. Yours was 84.
Right.
Did they think the same thing about us when we came out in 93? Like how different it was? You know what I mean? Like I
think, yes, maybe our attitudes or the way we approach the game may have been a little bit different, but the game in and of itself, I don't think changed from the generation prior to us to our generation. Now we know the game has changed now significantly because of the rules. But what else? The other thing that's changed the game today, and it's just hard to ignore it, man. It makes people change, and that's the money. The money that they're getting today. I mean, even the relationships, or I should say, the interactions between coaches and players, not just in professional football, but you got it going on in basketball, you got it going on baseball. You know, these cats are making so much money that, you know, the authority that a coach used to have, because we used to do stuff that the coach asked us to do without asking any questions. We didn't ask any questions. We just did what we were supposed to do.
Because he had the keys.
Right. Because he had
the keys to nobody wanted to get cut. Nobody wanted that knock on the door. So you do what you was told to do. Right. And that dynamic has definitely changed. I mean, even with the Eagles this year, you when they, what was it, during the bye week, you hear stories about Jordan Mailata and some of the players going to the coach Sirianni and talking about how they want to run the ball, how they want to do this and how they want to do that. When that kind of stuff, I mean, I guess we did have a little bit of input, but coaches wouldn't make changes like that based on what the players were asking or what the players were saying. So I think the money really has changed everything, and it's not going to get better, Marcus. It's going to continue to water things down. And it's going to continue to water things down. I mean, come on, okay, what, Jalen Hurts is 25 years old. Can you imagine yourself? Let me imagine myself. I can't imagine myself 25 years old making $50 million a year. I would probably die. I'd probably $50 million a year. Can you imagine that? And that's just going to continue to escalate. Those kind of salaries are going to continue to escalate. Guys are making 20, 30, $40 million a year. TV money keeps going up.
And it just keeps going up. TV money keeps going up. Salary cap keeps going up. And so I just think the money is made, and it's because of free agency. The money has made such a big difference that it's tough to pull in the reins. And it's changed the game. It's changed the game in terms of how the young men approach it. It's changed the game in terms of how the young men are coached. It's changed the game in terms of the voice that the players have now. I mean, when you look at basketball, what is this load management stuff, man? I can't get with that. I don't concept. I don't agree with it at all. That's you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars, and then you're going to tell the coach, I'm not playing tonight?
Not playing. You get paid to play.
You get paid to play.
You get paid to play. And all of the technology they have, all of the medical technology, they got
tubs and
machines,
mummy machines and tubs.
All of it. You can cup and chiropractic and infrared, all that type of stuff, man.
Right.
And the technology is just off the charts.
Yeah,
they can tell you what your internal body temperature is. They can tell you when you break something before you break it.
Yeah, all
of that type of stuff, man. And it seems like these dudes are getting hurt more. And that's the thing I don't understand, man. Because I'll say this all the time: we were built different.
Well, we were built different, Marcus. But I think some of it when the off season came, like when I got in the league at 1984. Guys weren't working out during the off season like they are now. I really didn't start working out like that and preparing for the season during the off season. So I was peaking during training camp and so on and so forth. I didn't start working out like that until I played 17 years, probably halfway through my career, a little bit more than that. Maybe before I left New England, but guys just didn't do that. I don't think these players give their bodies time enough to rest.
This is a part of training,
which is a part of training. It's just as important as training. And because they do all this position specific training and they train all year long and they only eat grass. They don't. They just. I just. That's just not. I think that's not necessarily the best way to do things, and that's why you have like soft muscle, soft tissue injuries when you get into training camp. It's just like you said, it's different. They're bigger and faster and stronger, so the collisions are going to be more explosive. Yeah. So that may be a part of why they're getting injured, but the soft tissue injuries, there's no excuse. And then also people they misunderstand the helmets. They're making new helmets. They're putting these little crash helmets on top of it.
Yep.
But that doesn't stop concussions. I don't know why people don't understand that.
It's not the impact, it's the sudden change of direction.
It's the sudden change of direction. It has nothing to do with the hit. It's the sudden stop, and your head stops and your brain keeps going and collides into the inside of your skull, and you get concussed. And helmets do not prevent that. Helmets prevent you from cracking your skull open when you do get hit. That's all. Yeah,
and it's different. And I've said this before, man. I remember my very first concussion when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
I was playing for Westco in St. Louis, Missouri, West County Vikings in St. Louis, Missouri, when we lived out in St. Louis. And that was my first year playing football. I was 10 years old. And I hit this kid. I was a nose guard. He was a fullback. And I hit this kid. And what do kids do when they about to make a tackle? They
put the head down.
We did just like that. And that was the first time I had that sensation when my fingertips started tingling.
Wow.
And I remember that.
Wow.
Now, if you introduced me to somebody, I couldn't tell you their name 5 minutes later. But I can remember that.
Yeah. Well, that was a traumatic experience. We usually do remember those bad things that happen to us. When I think about my career, sometimes I go back, people will ask me certain questions about certain periods of time or certain years in my career. And most of the stuff that I remember about my career were the bad things. When I dropped that pass, or I didn't run that route right, or I didn't finish that block and somebody got tackled, or those are the things that I remember. I don't really, think too much about the touchdowns or the wins or anything like that. I remember the drops in the times that I did not do my job. Not a lot of them. It's not a lot of them. But I had some for sure.
Yeah, man. And at the end of the day, we blessed to still be talking, to still be having coherent conversations.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because I've talked to a lot of the one thing like we have in common. Like I talked to a couple of my buddies from home. I got two of my best friends. One played with one won the Super Bowl with the Rams. That greatest show on turf year.
Okay.
My buddy Ron Carpenter, and I got another buddy named Alan DeGraff Reed. He was our kicker in high school. He was a soccer dude, and he was a soccer and a track star. He walked on at Ohio State, and because he was a track star and 6'2" and ran a 4.3, they gave him a scholarship, and he ended up playing with the Bengals and the Chiefs as a receiver.
Wow.
But we talked before, and we were like, "Man, do you have trouble remembering stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got." So, I counted a blessing, man, to be able to have conversations.
Yeah.
And to be coherent, because, I played with Andre Waters, who's no longer with us. I played with Wes Hop, who's no longer with us. You know what I mean? So, and man, we used to bang.
Yeah. In practice.
Oh my God, man. I got this phrase now. I say, we had two-a-days. These new kids got new-a-days. They don't do nothing.
Well, I see guys, and a few of the players on the Eagles said this going into training camp in this past season, beginning of this past season, 2024. They're coming into training camp. The press is there, the media is there. They got cameras, and they want to stop you and talk to you first couple of days of training camp. These guys are coming in talking about, well, I'm happy to be in training camp. I couldn't wait for training camp. What? You're happy to be in training camp? Yeah. I was never happy to be in training camp. I couldn't wait till training camp was over. Not that it started. My gosh. I was happy that, you know, we're back in the season, but man, we just want to get through training camp. We know we're about to go through hell.
They got a masseuse, they got a private chef. They got, I mean, I understand why.
Man, when I was at the Eagles with the Eagles for lunch, now I look at the cafeteria they have now, and like you said, all the food that's prepared, and some of them have special meals prepared for them. Yeah, they should be on point all the time, man. We had these little paper box lunches that stale sandwiches, a little juice carton. That was our lunch. We go upstairs, and one of the I don't know if it was one of the boxes or one of the mezzanine areas. I don't know where it was.
They would have box lunches, pretzels. But you lucky, you had Jeff. I played for Bremen. Oh my God,
Bremen was rough, huh?
Oh, Bremen was rough. Bremen, we had to pay for extra socks and pay for shoes. And if you wanted a decent pair of shoes, you had to go to one of the vets that had a Nike deal to see if you could, like, hey, Randall, can you give me a pair of size 12 Nikes? Hook a rook up, man.
I forget who I was talking to. Somebody that played during the time I played. He was oh man, I can't remember who it was, but he had just got picked up by a team, and he had signed a year contract. He was a free agent. Wasn't a whole lot of money. Year was over. He looked at his check stub, and on his check stub it had these subtractions taken out. You know, $100 here, $100 there, $100. It was $100 every time. Was it $100? No, it was $25. $25 every time he got his check. So he went to the finance department and asked them, "What's this? Why? What's this deduction?" They were charging the players $25 each a day for lunch, and they were taking it out of their checks.
Wow. Wow. It don't surprise me though.
No, taking it out of their checks.
It don't surprise me, man. I remember in '93 we signed Tim Harris from San Francisco. And I remember when he got there and he was kind of looking like, basically his attitude was like, man, what the heck is this nonsense? Like, what did I sign up for? Because this ain't how it was in San Francisco. It's like, yeah, because y'all don't want a couple of, you know, Super Bowls and you got, you know, you got some money out there. But man, we were.
Well, listen, when I left college, when I left the University of Nebraska and went to New England, that was a step backwards.
You like Deion, you took a pay cut.
Pay cut. That was a step backwards, man. I'm like, this is professional football. I'm going back to college. Oh man.
Oh my God, man.
Good days, good times. Long time ago.
I wouldn't change it for the world. No, I would do some things different, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it. Yeah. But you got 17 years in the league, bro. That's a long. Some people don't stay at regular jobs for 17 years. Good grief. 208 games started, 851 receptions, almost 18,000 yards, 12,785 yards reception, 84 touchdowns. Bro, you did work.
Yeah, I was working, man. You know what?
Work.
My career, I kind of empathize with Saquon Barkley. Our careers in this aspect kind of mirror one another, except his obviously turned out a lot better than mine. But he was on a team. What was he with the Giants for 6 years?
Giants, yeah.
He was there for 6 years. Really not maximizing his talent. Didn't have enough team around him to showcase what he really could do. Obviously, we know now what he can do. We knew he had talent. We knew he was a potentially great football player, but he never really did live up to his potential. And had he stayed with the Giants, he probably never would have lived up to his potential. And I was in New England for 9 years, man. 9 years I was in New England. And I always wonder, had I been somewhere else, had I been to Miami?
Yeah.
Half of those
you played with Marino.
Yeah. Had I been in Miami for 4 or 5 of those 9 years, man, my career would have been, probably even more exceptional than it was. I think I did pretty well and made my mark. I don't feel like I wasted my time, but man, I felt like I was dormant when I look back on my career, I was dormant because we weren't throwing the ball. We weren't throwing the ball. We didn't have quarterbacks. We didn't have right coaching. We didn't have any of what a lot of the teams in the league were doing at that time. And thank God, when I did, I got out of New England and went to Miami, and things took off there. But you know, had it been sooner, man, things might be a little bit different. I wouldn't have to be fighting trying to get into the Hall of Fame.
You know what? It's interesting because this era of fans, they don't understand. Like I remember them lean days, because I remember y'all had the dude that was the center on the helmet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Old school.
Most of these people don't remember that logo.
Right. No,
they don't. So they don't remember that era. All they know is Tom Brady.
Right.
And it was like, and the reason why a lot of people hate Tom Brady is because could nobody beat him.
Mm-hmm.
But don't nobody remember what happened before then.
Right. Right.
Like these kids these days, we got 2 Super Bowls in 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
They don't remember the lean days. You know, when that championship cupboard was dry.
Dry. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting how that dynamic works itself out, because everybody hates the Patriots. Everybody hates the Chiefs because they've been winning. Everybody hates the Lakers. Back in the day, they used to hate the Celtics.
The Celtics, yeah.
Before then, they used to hate the
Sixers.
Well, not the Sixers, but I was going to say Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Because the Steelers would it. I remember when the Cowboys used to be America's team. They were the good guys.
That's why everybody still hates the Cowboys.
Everybody still hates the Cowboys because of Troy Aikman and what they was doing then, man.
Right. So, right. Yeah.
Very interesting stuff, man.
It's we've been around a while. You mentioned all the old stuff. We've been around a while, man. Yeah. And that's, you know, when people do, if I'm out somewhere, it's really surprising to me sometimes when if I'm out somewhere and somebody recognizes me, and, you know, I've been retired for 25 years now, and somebody recognizes me with this face full of hair, it's really an honor and a privilege, because, you know, I didn't play here that long. I did play in the league for a while, but I've been out for some time now, and they've got new stars, and a lot of people have come and gone here in Philadelphia. I mean, I was in Texas one time, and I was in the Target or something, and a guy recognized me. This is just a couple of years ago he's from New England. Recognized Irving Fryar. So yeah, it's a privilege, man. It really is for me when somebody recognizes me, asks for an autograph or asks to take a picture. I'm open to it, you know, because the sun shines when you're playing. The sun is shining all the time, yeah. But when you stop playing, man, out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. And you were in both generations, because you started your career. ESPN wasn't ESPN yet.
No, they ain't have ESPN.
ESPN was only 4 years old? They started in 78. So that was 6 years old. So
did they start then? No, they didn't start then.
They started in 78.
Okay.
And then they blew up because here's how I see it.
They blew up sometime later. Yeah.
ESPN and Michael Jordan essentially happened at the same time.
Okay.
In my opinion, Michael Jordan is directly responsible for SportsCenter and the success.
Okay.
Because when you woke up in the morning to see the dunks or Chris Berman's, you know, top NFL plays, all of that. Mm-hmm. That's when that started in '84 when Jordan hit.
Right.
So you played then, and slowly but surely, and then I guess your career was over like right when social media hadn't even started in 2000.
Hadn't started 2000. My last year was 2000. Yeah, we still doing flip phones.
Nokias.
Look,
Nokias.
When I started playing, man, if you got the reward, or you knew you made it, if you were on the highlights on Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
If you made a touchdown or a catch or something like that, because they didn't put all the games on there. They picked out a few, and they put the highlights on Monday Night Football at halftime with Howard Cosell. And if you were on those highlights, you did something
did something.
Yeah.
You did something. I mean, I remember when I was a freshman in high school. This was 84 when I was a freshman in high school, and we watched the tape. We watched the NFL films tape. That's what made me want to be a running back. That was the first time I saw Gale Sayers.
Ooh.
That's why I wore number 40 in college and in high school. And I saw that where he said, all you got to give me is, what do you say, 13 inches.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I need, and I'll do the rest, man. But so my thing was like, I wanna be in this game long enough for John Facenda to say my name on a tape or something like that, man. So we had them ties right before everything just went nuts with the technology and social media, and and it's funny where I could say I graduated college before Windows 95 existed.
Wow. Yeah, you're old too, bro. Or getting there. I'm not gonna say you're old, but you're pretty soon you have. Every time I pull up, it's happening to me too often now. My wife just laughs, but I go to the gas station, pull up to the gas station, man, put the window down, and the gas station attendant comes over. Hey, what's up, OG? What can I do for you? And my wife says, that stands for old guy.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's happened. It happened to me like 3 times last week. Pull up to the gas station. Dude comes over. I roll the window down. OG and one was a white guy. 2 were black guys. The other one was a white guy. What can I do for you, OG? What you need?
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm like, man, y'all.
Shout out. What's up, K-Sap? I appreciate you, brother. My buddy from Simply Ball Dropping. What's going on, K-Sap? Yeah. They started to hit me with that too.
Oh, they are? Okay.
So,
all right.
You know what? I got a text from one of my buddies I used to work with at Apple. He was like, it's either OG or Big Bruh or something to that extent. I'm like, it's what's up, Unc? Yeah. But what you gonna do, man?
Hey, keep on living, bro. Keep on living.
Wanted to ask you this because I saw, going through getting some stuff. I saw one of your pictures, and I forgot about this. Were you coaching at Rutgers at one time?
No, that was.
Where was that at?
Gosh, Robbinsville High School.
Okay, so that was okay.
I was coaching at Robbinsville High School. Hollis Thomas was my defensive coordinator. I was there for a year. Then, then they let me go. When I got indicted, they let me go.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, that was fun, man. My plan at the time, obviously it didn't work, but my plan at the time was to coach there for a couple of years, then go to the college level, maybe up at Rutgers or somewhere like that.
Right.
But obviously that didn't work.
Okay. Well, I wanted to get you hit it when you were talking about the indictment.
Mm-hmm.
I'll touch on that if you want to go further. I'll leave.
No, Doc, we can look. I'm an open book, man. As a matter of fact, just today I was talking to. I had lunch with a friend of mine who's a tech guy. I don't know if you don't know who he is. His name's Lou Rogers, and we met today because I need to start IrvingFryer.com. Put everything in one space. All of the podcasts I'm doing, my social media, try to create this page, contact page, bio, pictures, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to create that page. He's creating it now, actually, so that when people Google me, we're going to push it so IrvingFryer.com comes up.
Gotcha.
But I've been thinking about this ever since not since my incarceration, maybe a couple of years after I was released from prison. I started thinking about this because those first couple of years I was too mad to think about anything else. But just today I went and I got a audio recorder, tape recorder. I'm going to start my book. I need somebody to write it, but I'm going to talk the whole thing through from the beginning all the way up to now. And then they can take what they need from it. Because I talk about it all the time.
A lot.
To myself.
Yeah.
Out loud. I talk about it all the time. I'm just not, I can write a sermon, but I don't think I can write a book. It's a lot, and I need someone to help me put it together. So I'm starting it today. So yeah, I'm an open book, man, and I'm actually excited about sharing my story.
Okay. Well, okay, so let me go here because I want to tie this into kind of like I was about to get into coaching kids.
Hmm.
Um, because I was going back and I caught your conversation. This was about 5, 6 months ago, I guess. You had a
Hmm.
conversation with John Gruden. He was on his show.
Yeah, yeah,
And he was talking about, when you went through your trials and tribulations, some people call it consequences, repercussions, however you want to look at it. And he kept saying, he said, and you found God, and how did you get through it? And you said you were doing what God told you to do, and it went in a direction you didn't expect it to go.
right.
Because specifically, you said God told you to go to trial. You went to trial, and then they found you guilty. You were like, "What? Wait, what?"
Hmm.
And I attribute that to, because I've told people before, you know, you got to be aware when you ask God to move in your life. Don't be
Hmm.
surprised if he shows up with construction equipment.
Hmm.
So some things going to get messed up,
Yep.
and you never know what doing what you are supposed to do is really going to mean. And I
Yeah.
think because that involves loss, that involves sacrifice. And the reason why I was thinking about that with kids is because it is so difficult now to try to deal with kids and everything that they're dealing with and going through now, because now you got the kids, the parents are extra bad, and different things like that. So how do you see that? Um, just the way you got to deal with people, just the relationships you got to have nowadays, because everything you do, somebody's recording it, they putting
Right.
it on social media,
Right.
somebody got something to say that ain't got nothing to do with the situation, so it's a
I
different ball game.
Yeah. I mean, things are crazy and out of control right now when it comes to social media, when it comes to the cynicism of people, when it comes to idolatry, and people being thingified. I say people are thingified. We stopped being human beings, and now we're human havers, and we identify with what we wear and what we drive and how much money we have in the bank, where we live, all that kind of stuff. Is just taking us away from the uniqueness of our individuality, and it's taken us away from understanding how precious life is and how precious we are as
Yeah.
individuals and as humans collectively. Um, the thing about what you're saying, if I were to talk to a kid or reference my situation when it came to a child, obviously I wouldn't really talk to them about. I was to let them know I was in prison, but I would try to help them to understand one of the main reasons I ended up in prison is because I didn't cross all my T's and dot all my I's. Meaning, I allowed myself to get into a relationship that gave a guy access to my life, areas of
Mm.
my life that I should have qualified him for before I allowed him to have access to my life in
Right.
that area. And I should have known what was going on.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So in that, yes, cross all your T's and dot all your I's. Never allow somebody to do something for you that's has to do with what it is you're trying to accomplish in your life without you knowing exactly what's going on, and without you going back and double checking,
Yeah.
making sure what they say they're doing or however it is they're involved in your life. Because, man, people, a lot of times, I think it's relationships that we have with people, we as human beings, that will either allow us to thrive and to accomplish
Yeah.
and excel with our abilities and our talents, or those relationships will hinder us.
Right.
um I know, like in my first marriage, there were things that I wanted to do when I finished playing football, but that's not what she wanted to do.
Right.
And I didn't make those moves when now I know I could have been doing that. I could have been, in movies. I could have been, doing TV, but she wasn't good with that. So I didn't do it. But that hindered me. It kept me from growing. It kept me from excelling. It kept me from using the talent and the ability that God gave me, which is, it was back then, it was pretty well known. But again, like I said, out of sight, out of mind. So once I cowered it down and didn't do anything, it just, that bridge or that opportunity went away, disappeared. But no, that's what I would tell young people, or I'll tell anybody who's watching right now, whether you're young or an adult. Listen, know what's going on in your life. Don't give someone access to your life without knowing exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it, when they're doing it, and what the consequences of what they're doing is going to be, pros and cons.
Yeah. Trust can make you lazy, man.
Yeah.
Trust can make you lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Because I think a lot of times we walk into situations with our eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
We see it, but we don't want to see it.
Right.
We know what questions to ask, but we don't ask them.
Mm-hmm.
And you get lax because you might trust somebody, or you might trust a situation when somewhere in the back of your mind and your spirit is telling you like,
mm-hmm.
you might want to double check that.
Right.
So, because I believe it's few and far between when you make a mistake, because a mistake implies that you didn't have all of the information.
Right.
Now those situations happen but rarely are you in a situation where you don't have all of the information and you say, you know what, I'm just going to take my best educated guess.
Mm-hmm.
I should have said I went right when I should have went left.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But most times in our lives, we got all the information we need.
Right. Yeah.
And we willingly go the wrong way.
Because that's either going to give us what we believe is going to be a quicker outcome, or it's brighter, or it's shinier on that side,
or keep you comfortable,
or make you look good, keep you comfortable. Yeah, it's less resistance going that way, the path of least resistance. Yeah. You're right. You are right about that. But you know what? Most of the time, the hard way is the right way.
Yeah,
because you learn going the hard way.
Yeah,
you build up not just trust, but you build up in terms of what it is you're focused on, what it is you're trying to accomplish. You really do get to know the intricacies of it because you learn it the hard way.
Right. Appreciate the super chat, Carlos. Coach, salute, Mr. Irving Fryar. Hope all is well. Definitely enjoy watching you play as an Eagles in an Eagles uniform on Sundays. Go Birds!
All right, Mr. Carlos.
Appreciate you, Carlos.
Mr. Carlos, thank you very much, sir. But I have a pet peeve, sir. This is this is nothing against you. You know what I'm getting ready to say, Marcus. Okay. Mr. Carlos, if I may call you Mr. Carlos. My last name is spelled Fryar.
Oh, okay, I got you.
ER is a chicken. So so I have a pet peeve about it. And a lot of people do that all the time. I mean, that happens all the time with people. Fryer is ER. No, it's AR. Fryar.
Oh man. Let's see. What was that?
Don't let me lose you, man. Don't let me lose you.
No. Listen, I got my notes. I got my iPad right here. I'm good. The reason I was talking about the kids, and for a little bit of history between me, I met Irvin. We were working at a church together. I was involved in the youth ministry. He came down. So we worked the youth ministry together. So he know Jesus. I know Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I remember, I can't remember how long ago this was. I was at Apple and I saw one of them kids that used to come to church all the time.
Oh, really? Wow.
He was in bad shape.
Wow.
He was in bad shape. Like he was with somebody, had a baby, but you could see the experience.
Yeah.
On his face.
It was wearing on him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's like you just got to take some of them lessons, man. And some of these kids today, they don't understand the lessons in loss. Everybody thinks it's so embarrassing if you lose or whatever the situation is. I remember one time had a bunch of kids. I took them outside. This was at church. Took them outside. I said, you know what? We going old school. We gonna play kickball. So I went out there and played kickball, and of course, you know, we had the boys down there and they showing off and all of that type of stuff. Do you know that could not near one of them kick the ball? And they were so embarrassed that they shut it down. They didn't want to do nothing. They didn't want to talk to nobody because the girls was laughing at them.
Wow.
And I'm looking at and I see that. And
kickball's a basic, man. That's a basic. That's a basic when you're a kid.
A basic. And some of these boys that be showing off talking about Kobe and all of that type of stuff. Like you can't even do a basic thing in kicking a ball. But it showed me like how these kids, how the outlook is now. Like when we were talking earlier, the money has changed things because you didn't talk back to coaches. You didn't bring your cell phone in the locker room and record the conversation.
Right.
You didn't do things like that. But now this generation of kids, they grow up seeing that. And somebody said this, and I was like, that is profound. They said, are you hungry or do you just want something to eat? And a lot of these kids ain't hungry no more.
And because they don't know what hungry is.
Nah.
You know, there's, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's people who lack the necessities, the basic fundamental needs that we need every day, you know, whether it's housing or clothing or food. There are people who are legitimately in those kinds of situations. What's my daughter calling me for? She called me
because she can.
Because she can, yeah. You're right, because she can.
Because she can.
So there are those who lack and do not have access to the basic fundamental needs. So they legitimately, they're legitimately in a position where they're just trying to survive. Right. They're trying to survive. And some of them, you know, obviously going the direction where they're doing things that are against the law or doing things to hurt other people because they're just trying to survive. But there are a lot of young people who have, like, for instance, not my daughter just called, but my baby girl, when she went to college, she got a scholarship, St. John's, academic scholarship. We drove her up there and we got her in a dorm room and we're getting ready to leave. And she comes up to me and she says, Daddy, I can't do this. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do this? She said, I can't do this. I can't stay here in this room with other people. I'm used to having my own space and my own room. This is a step backwards for me. And a lot of that generation, they're like that.
Yeah.
Baby boomers. We've created an environment where there's no need. There's nothing that they lack. They drive around in decent cars. They wear decent clothes. They ask for something, we give it to them. Right. And then when it's time for them to go out and do it for themselves, going from that bedroom that they lived in that nice house, 4-bedroom house, into a little apartment, they can't do it. They got to go buy a hoopty. They can't. It's a shock to them. So yeah, there's a level of comfort that's been developed that, like you said, if they go backwards or suffer loss, they just can't handle it. But you know what? Right. I try to tell young people, try to tell my kids, that's when you learn. Yeah. That's how you develop. That's how you grow. I never learned anything winning when the sun is shining, when everything is all right. That's not when I learned. I learned, listen, prison was the best thing. It's going to sound crazy. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I'm not saying that because I deserved to go to prison. I didn't deserve to go to prison. But man, the way my outlook now, how I relate with God now, people, I see people the way I should have been seeing people before. You know, things just changed for the better for me. Yes, I got less people around me. Yeah, things changed where people will look and think that it changed in a negative way. But no, it all turned out to be positive. Am I still dealing with some of the fallout from that whole deal? Of course. I may be dealing with it for the rest of my life, but God gave Paul a thorn in the side, so that he wouldn't take away, that he wouldn't remove, even when Paul asked him 3 times. So if this is my thorn, then I just have to deal with it. But God's grace is sufficient. He'll give me the grace that I need to overcome it and to be successful and not just survive but thrive.
Yeah, you gotta. If you gonna battle, you gotta battle. So if because people get real, they want to say real easy, like what's for me is for me, and like, do you really understand?
You still gotta go get it.
You still gotta go get it, and you still gotta do the work to maintain it. You know what I mean? Everybody want the Lambo until you find out it's a $5,000 oil change. Like, this is what you asked for.
Right.
So there's some requirements and prerequisites that come with it, and you got to be willing to do that. And a lot of people, they want to balk at it when they find out how much work it is in it.
Anything that's sustainable is going to take work.
Facts.
That's something. Listen, you gotta have it. Look, J-O-B is I know it's pronounced Job in the Bible, but it's the longest book in the Bible. J-O-B, job.
Yeah. Job. Exactly. Job had a job.
It's pronounced Job, but it spells job.
Exactly, man.
We have to, you gotta grind, you gotta put the work in, you gotta put the effort in. And one thing, just people in general, I think, with procrastination, you got to do it over time and be consistent. Over time and be consistent. So many of us start things and stop things and restart and stop and don't complete them and don't finish them and get mad and feel bad about ourselves. No. The Bible says God finished what he was doing, and he looked back and said, it's good. When he created the heavens and earth, he finished it.
Right.
And then looked back and said, it's good. The Bible says the Holy Spirit will finish the good work that he starts in us. When Jesus died on the cross, he said, what? It is finished. So if we're made in the image and in the likeness of God, then guess what? We ought to finish what we start.
Finish what we start.
And the Bible says it's better, in Ecclesiastes, it's better. The end of a thing is better than the beginning of a thing.
Right.
It's better to finish than it is to start.
Right. Carlos, come back spelling your name right.
Thanks, Carlos.
He says, what were the highest and lowest points of your playing career, and what are some pitfalls to avoid as young NFL players coming to the league?
The highest point for me wasn't really games, but the highest point for me was going down to Miami, being traded to the Miami Dolphins. There's a story behind that, because I had been trying to get out of New England and leave that in. Let's see, young NFL players. Okay. There's a story behind that, because probably 4 years prior to me actually being traded to the Miami Dolphins, I was trying to get out of New England. And we played, obviously we were in AFC East, so we played Miami twice a year. So maybe 4 years prior to me actually being traded, after every time we played the Miami Dolphins, I would go up to Don Shula after the game and say, hey, coach, you got to get me out of here. You got to get me out of here. And he would smile. And then finally, when I can never remember his name, Bledsoe came, and what was that coach's name? The coach Bledsoe. He was from the Giants. I can't think of his name. I never can remember his name. But he came in and gave me the opportunity to go. And then Shula grabbed me. He grabbed me as soon as he got the chance. So that was like the highest time for me, getting out of New England, going to another team, getting out of the cold, going to the sun where there's grass. And I'd been in New England for 9 years. I had been in Nebraska 4 years prior to that. And all of that was turf, and all of that was cold. So going down to Miami was like being born again. It was. My worst time in my career was when I was in New England. My first year there as a rookie, I broke my ribs and I dislocated my shoulder. Not all at the same time, but I broke my ribs in not in training camp, in preseason. down in Washington. And then I came back from that, and then I dislocated my shoulder. And both those times I missed 4 games. So my rookie year was the worst time for me because I hadn't learned how to play in the NFL. I thought I could just run everybody over like I was
Right.
doing in college. and I figured out real quick that you don't have to, you can't do that all the time. And
welcome to the NFL, Mo.
Yeah. I was playing with grown men.
Yeah.
Playing with grown men. You know what? The pitfalls for the young guys right now, I would say one of the most important things is learning how to be financially literate, illiterate, but be financially literate. They have so much money now that I'm sure it's way worse than it was when we were in the NFL, Marcus. You know, we had people coming at us, you know, relatives showing up that we ain't never seen before with their hand out.
Just the cousins.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine because they put, you know, everybody knows how much money they make and they're making millions and millions of dollars. So people are coming saying, listen, you got $20 million, man. Come on, you can give me a couple thousand. You know, they got people coming.
Hook a brother up.
Yeah, hook a brother up. So they got people coming. I can't even imagine what it's like right now. But being financially literate, obviously they're making money now that's generational money to where, you know, if they know how at least a little bit to manage that money, it'll last, you know, them and their kids and their grandchildren, you know, some of these contracts. So I would think that would be one of the things. And I think, you know, guys are more prepared when it comes to managing money than some of us in generations prior were prepared. I was not prepared to manage money. I did not know how to manage money. Nobody in my family ever had any money. The one person that I knew, and I really can't say anything about this because it was a legal thing. But the one person I knew from college that I was friends with, or he was like a mentor to me when I had him manage my money, and he was a part of Dean Witter. He stole it from me. So, and he's a guy I trusted. You got, like I said, it goes back to you got to know for yourself what you're doing. And if you got somebody doing it for you or doing it with you, you still have to know it, because that way you'll be able to know when something is wrong and something's not right. Uh-oh, your sound went out. I can't hear you.
You got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. My brother-in-law had called me. This was a while ago. And he had met some guy down there where he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, this guy's son is playing football, been starting since he was a freshman, starting varsity. And he wants to know what he should tell his son because the scouts are coming and this, that, and the other. And I told him, I said, well, the first thing you need to do is get him enrolled in school right now at his high school. Do they have business classes?
Mm-hmm.
Because he will be privy to the NIL money they get.
Yep.
And just like anybody else, you're going to have people that's going to try to take advantage of you. So you got a whole new set of circumstances that didn't exist 10 years ago. So,
well, the poor kids, when they're going to college with regards to the NIL, they're getting pressure from the parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
The parents are trying to control that money.
Well, have you seen some of these? Thanks again, Carlos, for the super chat. Have you seen some of these? You know, where the kid picks what school they going to?
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the nonsense that they going through? The kid got 5 different hats. The parents is leaving because they thought they was going to Alabama and they chose Auburn or whatever. And I'm like, it ain't that serious. Just
the parents are mad because they know that's the school that wasn't paying the most money.
Probably. You're right.
I made a deal with such and such. You're supposed to go to this school. Yeah. We told them
parents making deals behind the kids.
Right. Right.
All that.
Well, I mean, come on. Now, first of all, it opens money up. So, you know, these kids I've been told, I don't know if this is true or not, but an average quarterback coming out of high school going into a Division I college, they have to have at least $500,000 of NIL money for that average quarterback.
Mm.
I don't know how true that is, but I do know you got to have NIL money to get anything significant in terms of talent coming into your school. But
Exactly.
these parents are they get the money now 4 years in advance. So I have a child who's an above average athlete in high school. He may not be somebody that everybody's saying, you know what, he's got the ability to make it to the NFL, but he's going to make it to college, and he'll make it to college, and he'll make some money in college. So now I got a chance to make a couple $100,000, even if he doesn't make it to the pros. You think the parents aren't jumping all over that?
Absolutely. I remember how happy my parents were when I got a full scholarship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a different world, man. And they, you know, when you get this type of money, and I blame this solely, I put this solely on the NCAA, because the NCAA have been stealing money for years. And at every level. So they get what they get. But ultimately, you still got to be cautious, and you still got to be, it just puts that in, it puts that situation on kids that aren't ready for it, because when the kids that did make it to the pros and still had to go through that as adults, they wasn't ready for it. So, you know, the kids are going to suffer even more.
Right.
So, but it's,
they
just got to be careful. And
they got to change something up with that, like with the portal, maybe, you know, letting kids know, listen, if you don't stay at a school, or every time you go to a portal and you go to a different school, you have to make less money than you did in the school prior.
Okay.
So you take a 25% or a 50% pay cut if you get in the portal and go to another school. So if you're making $1 million at Purdue, if you change and go to Syracuse, guess what? You're getting $250,000.
Yeah, it's always iffy, because you see how much money the school is making. I always forget that it was 2 stories where I was just like, you know what, NCAA, I'm out. Forget y'all. Was when the basketball coach, what was his name? I believe you from Utah, Rick Majerus.
Okay.
He was recruiting a kid, took a kid to get a pizza on his recruiting trip, and they banged up. They put him on suspension, because he bought the kid a pizza. And then I remember the kid that played here for the Eagles, Jeremy Bloom.
Okay.
When Jeremy Bloom was at Colorado, he was an Olympic mogul skier.
Wow.
And they made him give up. They made him make a choice. You got to give up, because you know, if you go to the Olympics, you got to raise money.
Right.
So he had to. They said you either got to give up your football scholarship or give up your Olympic sponsors. So he quit football, I believe.
Wow.
Because he wanted to pursue his. Now he still came back and ended up playing and played a couple years in the league. But why would you put that on the kid to have to give up his dreams because he was getting sponsorship money and all of this? And then you go into all of the money.
Now they just got giving out money.
They're giving it away. Giving it away, man.
Well, Oregon was the owner of Nike, told the University of Oregon University, which was University of Oregon, told Oregon there's no limit to NIL money. Go get who you want.
Man, I'm going to the Ducks. Go up there and get a job.
Look, he already spends a whole. They just get everything from Nike. Every game they play, they got a new uniform.
New uniforms, man. I used to be so mad because I went to a 1AA school, and like with guys that went to Nebraska or SC or all of them big schools, you go to a bowl game, they coming back with PlayStations, sweatsuits, watches, that gift basket that's sitting on your bed. When you go to a bowl game, I was like, man, we couldn't get none of that. We was on buses to everywhere, man. We didn't get no life like that, man.
Wow.
So,
well, like I said, when I went to the pros, it was a step backwards from Nebraska, man. Shoot. I'm like, this is a locker room? What is this? It was bad, man. It was bad. Sullivan Stadium, that thing was oof. And then the vet, when I got to the vet, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Man. I used to hate playing. My first preseason game that I actually played in, I just remember after the game, taking a shower and my body stinging because of all of the rug burns that I had. And I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. But real quick, you play with one of my heroes. You play with Mike Rozier.
Yeah.
Mike's crazy. I know Mike.
He's still crazy.
He's still crazy. I just saw him the other day.
You did?
Yeah. My buddy, we got a mutual friend that he had a birthday party and saw him there. But you played with Roger Craig.
Yeah.
High knees Craig. That's what I used to call him. And I just remember Roger Craig because he was the first person I remember seeing in the NFL that was doing the fashion stuff.
Okay.
I know there were other people that did it. But for some reason, he stood out to me for whatever reason, because he used to wear the knicker shorts, the knicker pants down to the knees, and the crazy colored vests and all of that type of stuff, man.
He's from he dressed like that in college. Deport, we call it. He was a Deport because he was from Davenport, Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah. And he just swore he was a city boy.
From Iowa.
But you mentioned Mike. Listen, so our rookie year, our freshman year, Mike and I signed together, but Mike had to go to a JUCO our freshman year because his grades weren't right. So he went to Coffeyville, Kansas. So our freshman year, I was there and Mike wasn't there. Mike didn't come to sophomore year. Me and Mike got a place together. I end up starting or splitting time with a starter as a wingback our sophomore year. And Mike comes in. Roger's a junior, and Mike beats Roger Craig out.
Mike was nasty though.
That's like the Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas thing.
Yeah.
But so Tom Osborne had to figure out a way to get both of those cats in the game at the same time. So we ran some split backfield stuff, but Mike beat Roger out. Roger in college, Roger was the dude.
Roger was nasty too. Absolutely.
Roger was the dude, man. Couldn't nobody tackle Roger, but Mike came and beat Roger out. Even Roger's senior year, Mike was starting as a junior. Roger didn't start. Roger wasn't starting his senior year.
That's crazy. Old school decisions, man. Old school decisions.
Man. Yeah.
Seeing as though the Eagles just went in the Super Bowl, how was your experience in Super Bowl 20? Well, you had to go up against some 85 Bears.
Man, you know what? I think about that every now and then, or at least every time the Super Bowl rolls around every year, I think about that and how important it is for teams to stay with what they're doing and not to change it up. Meaning it's got to be, you can't put too much emphasis on the game. You hear people saying, yes, the Super Bowl, or you hear players saying and coaches saying, yes, the Super Bowl, but you got to treat it like it's just another game. And that is so true. I can't emphasize how true that is, because for us, we were playing well. We went and we were a wild card team and went on the road and won 3 games and got into the Super Bowl. But when we got to the Super Bowl, man, we played. I go back and watch that game. We made a lot of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. The Bears probably would have beat us anyway. Had we not made those mistakes, they probably still would have beat us because they were a great team and a great defense. But man, we set a record that day. It was the worst defeat in Super Bowl history at that time. Since then, it's been surpassed. But we were so uptight because we changed everything, our routine of the week. We had curfew every day and, had to be in here and couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. We were so uptight, and it was pounded into our heads that it's the Super Bowl and you got to do this. And we never gave ourselves a chance, man. We never gave ourselves a chance. And it was so disappointing to me that, it's like I never went to the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you something, and you're probably going to get mad, or somebody get mad. We got an AFC championship ring. I threw it away.
I've heard people say that before, because I don't. And when we won an NFC championship, I was like, do not get me an NFC championship shirt, no apparel. It's only about the big one.
Yeah. So and matter of fact, I took it. I was somewhere in Boston. I think it might have been a restaurant or something like that. I took it off and left it in the bathroom on the so somebody could have it.
Left it in
So
the back on the
I guess somebody has it.
drying their hands off.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, man, it was it was a bittersweet. There wasn't anything sweet about it. It was bitter because
So y'all were prepared, but y'all were just wound up. You didn't.
I don't even know if I guess we were prepared. I guess you could say that. But we changed everything. Like, you do certain things at a certain time during the week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Do what got you there.
Do what got you there. Exactly. But we got there and we changed everything. Like I said, you see some of the players and teams, they can go out at nighttime on Tuesday night, on Wednesday night, hang out if you wanted to. That's the normal routine.
Right.
Like if you're at home, you don't have a curfew every day at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we're sitting in our rooms. All we're doing is sitting in our rooms thinking about the game, the game. And by the time we got to the game, man, I'll never forget it. I was so hyped about the game and so uptight about the game when I was going out of the tunnel. I don't remember any of the festivities for the Super Bowl during the game. I was going out of the tunnel onto the field. I couldn't see anything to my sides. I had tunnel vision.
Wow. Yeah.
I was getting scared. I'm like, I can't see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember I'm sure you've heard that story, like what happened to the Raiders when they were playing Gruden. I forget what year it was. Gruden was with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, and the story is that the Raiders changed up their whole game plan the night before, and that's when that center went nuts and went down to Mexico or something like that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. You can't do that. You can't do that. You just gotta do, like you said, do what got you there.
Do what got you there,
and do the things that got you there. That's how you got there. So that's what's gonna keep you there. And
like people don't understand that mental, man. That mental's got to be tight, bro. That mental's got to be, because I remember I'm from Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? 86? When the Bengals running back didn't show up for the game, didn't show up for the Super Bowl.
Who was that?
That was, hold on, I'm gonna look it up. I remember that. We were in the Super Bowl that year.
What happened to him? Why didn't he show up?
I think he went out and had a little too much fun. Let me see. Bengals running back misses Super Bowl.
I'm trying to figure out.
That was the first. That was because I know we went in '88 because we lost twice, both times to Joe Montana. One was with Kenny Anderson and the other one was with Boomer.
Okay.
Let me see. Stanley Wilson. The best fullback, third leading rusher, missed Super Bowl after being caught using cocaine in his hotel room the night before the game.
Lord Jesus. How'd he get caught?
I don't know. I don't know.
If he was in his hotel room, how'd he get caught?
Sam White, because even then, Sam White was known as an old school coach.
Okay. So
but I mean, just to your point, just being that's right. That was when Tim Crumry, our defensive tackle, broke his ankle in the game. I remember that. So 1988, that was my senior year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was when the jungle happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Cincinnati had a little bit of gravitas to it, man, because we were the kicking posts for a long time in the league. You know what I mean? So I was happy to see Cincinnati get some, and then all of a sudden, a couple years ago when Joey Burrow did his thing, I didn't know what I was going to do if the Eagles and Cincinnati would have played in the Super Bowl. I'd lost my mind.
Well, because
I tell people
it's a win-win situation for you. It would have been a win-win.
I bleed green, but I was born in the jungle.
There you go. Yeah, it'd been a win-win.
Skyline chili and cheesesteaks for everybody.
You'd have been happy and you would have been sad.
So, one last thing, real quick, man. Got to go with the stuff that's going on today, man. Did you see? We were talking about the money that these kids get now.
Mm-hmm.
Milt Williams is now the biggest contract for a non-quarterback in NFL history.
Now, isn't he with the Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$104 million.
Well,
63 million guaranteed.
It's only going to last another Not even till next year. And then the year after that, Jalen
Right.
Carter is going to be the highest paid non-quarterback.
Yep.
Watch.
That's why, hey, all y'all out there worried about what Howie Roseman is doing. He is preparing for the Jalen Carter contract.
Oh,
do not get it twisted.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I mean, you got to give it time too. Anybody who's watching, you know, you listen. I think they're just poking the bear. You know, the whether it's WIP, whether it's people who have podcast or reporting on the Eagles. You know, given the fact that we've lost a few players and really haven't gained anybody. I mean, we signed a rusher, end rusher, and then we signed a fullback because Gainwell's gone.
Fullback,
but,
we got.
But Howie's got. Let me see. He's got a first-round pick this year, a second-round pick this year, 3 third-round picks, and 3 fourth-round picks. He's got 8 picks in the first.
He got 20. He got 21 picks between
in the next 2 years.
Next 2 years.
Yeah,
and I was like, you already know he gonna do some wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
With them.
But offensively, we're straight. You know,
straight.
Yeah, we made. I don't know. Did Becton go anywhere yet?
Not yet. I think Becton is gonna stay.
I think
Becton understands
that
he needs to be in the right environment for him to succeed.
Right.
So
stay
right on his university, bro.
The offense is straight. Now, defensively, yes, we've lost players. You know, Sweat, Slay, Williams. Yeah, we lost players. But understand this. On all 3 levels, we still have our number 1 players.
Yes.
We got Jalen Carter. That's our number 1 lineman. We got Zach Bond. That's our number 1 linebacker. And we got Quinyon Mitchell. That's our number 1.
And Coop.
Yep, and Coop. Number 1 safety and corner. So we're good. And based on what we saw last year, because even Q and DeJean, yeah, I'm sorry, DeJean, Coop, like you said. We didn't know what they were going to do, how they were going to turn out last year. But man, the coaching that Vic is doing over there is just phenomenal.
Yes.
They're able to take guys who, Zach Bond, perfect example, who came out of nowhere and put him in the right position and coach him up and develop them into players that are
coaching matters.
Yes, that are significant. So I'm not worried about the defense. Will the defense be the number 1 defense in the league again this coming season? I don't think so, but I don't think they're going to be in the lower third either. Yeah,
it ain't going to be like 2023.
No. I think at the least there'll be a top 10 defense at the least. You know, obviously barring injury and so on and so forth. But no, I'm not worried about what's going on at all. That's what happens when your team wins the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Other teams want your players and other teams want your coaches.
Yep.
So, I mean, you're going to lose them. Howie Roseman's done a great job of finagling things around, and just watch. It's a long way to go. Offseason just started.
He the Wizard of Philadelphia, man. I said this the other day. Just like you got all of these players that they get on the cover of the Madden video game. They need to put Howie Roseman on the cover of Chess Master.
the chess magazine.
Man, he be moving the pieces, man.
I don't by any stretch of the imagination try to act like I know how the salary cap works and all that stuff. I have no idea. And I hear people talk about it and I still don't have an I hear people explain it. I'm like, I still don't get it. But I know Howie knows it.
He knows what he's doing, man.
And he knows how to work it. And he's down the road. He's 2 years down the road with this thing. So
3 moves ahead.
Yeah, they'll be competitive this year. And they listen, they're in a position right now, I believe, and I've heard this said by a few people that are supposedly football experts. They're in a position right now where they can compete and have a legitimate chance of winning another 1, maybe even 2 Super Bowls in the next 3 years.
Agree.
Next 3 years. After that, it's going to blow up.
Yes. We reload.
Yeah. Because Brown's going to be going somewhere. AJ's not going to be here for 3 years. No. He might be here another year, maybe 2 after this one. Yeah.
You can't pay everybody, man.
No, can't pay everybody.
Speaking of AJ, this is the last thing, man. All of the hype and hoopla of like what happened with AJ and after
And
that
who?
Carolina game, the
Oh,
passing issue.
yeah.
And I say this all the time, and I need somebody else just to co-sign. And what I say is the average fan has no idea the dynamics that go on in the locker room. Everybody don't like each other. Everybody doesn't have to like each other. If you think something was said that was a little off kilter in an interview or something, just imagine some of the stuff that people say during film sessions. I was like, y'all don't understand. That's not it. Those dynamics are totally different. And I keep saying this, and I am going to find out who this dude named Sources is. I'm on a hunt for sources because everybody got sources that don't know nothing.
Unnamed sources.
They guessing. But my point was the dynamics in a locker room are totally different than where you see anywhere else.
Right.
So when I hear like a lot of the stuff that goes on and people losing their mind because of what what AJ said, and now there's a beef and there's this and there's that, and we don't like Jalen's attitude. And I was like, I just shake my head. I was like, y'all looking for something to talk about because this ain't it. It doesn't go down like that in a locker room.
Right. No, it doesn't. Even if everybody's got the same goal, and that is to win a championship. That's the goal. In any setting, whether it's a bank, whether it's any other kind of job, you got people that don't necessarily get along with one another, but they have to work together to accomplish whatever goal it is that's set before them. Otherwise, they don't get paid. So, now I do believe, though, I do believe there's a measure of selfishness in there when AJ's doing his thing, because the timing of that whole passing comment that was after
the Carolina game.
Yeah, they had just in that game clinched their playoff spot. They clinched it that day, and that same day, Saquon Barkley had broke the single season rushing record for the Eagles.
Yes.
So instead of celebrating the playoff berth and Saquon Barkley's record, guess who we were talking about all week?
Yeah, but my thing is, I'm only gonna have a problem with you if you wrong, and he wasn't wrong.
No, I'm not saying he was wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he was wrong.
I guess my logic is he could have said a lot of other stuff.
Of course, but he's not. But remember,
he kept it.
But remember what BG said on WIP.
Yeah,
and BG is not AJ or on that side. He's not on the outside looking in. He's a part of what's going on, and he almost spilled all the beans.
I was like,
so something.
Were you watching that in real time?
No, I didn't watch it in real time. Right after he said it, though, I caught some of it. He almost spilled all the beans.
I was watching that in real time, and literally, I'm like, "What? Are you doing? You talking family business on the radio? Are you crazy? Like,
so
not on WIP. Don't do that. Stop.
He spilled some of the beans. He spilled some of the beans. So there's some beans. There's something there. There was something there, and but
they're all. I guess that's my point. There always is, and there always will be.
Right. But this one you can kind of identify. Listen, it's a Saul King David situation.
Yeah.
Saul killed thousands. That's what the women were screaming. Saul killed thousands, but David killed tens of thousands, right?
Right.
So Saul got sick of David trying to kill David because Saul's name ain't being said loud enough for Saul, and everybody's saying David's name. Well, guess what? Before Saquon came to Philadelphia, everybody was screaming
it was AJ
Brown's name. Right?
Rightfully so.
Yeah. Rightfully so. But when Saquon came, AJ caught 1,000. Saquon caught tens of thousands of balls.
Yeah. I guess I don't know, man. I guess here's my logic.
I'm telling you, some of that's in there.
No, I agree with that 100%. But I guess my thing was, I would feel that way if Jalen wasn't throwing him the ball. I would agree 100%. My problem is Jalen was not throwing the ball well. That's, to me, that was the issue.
Well, he wasn't throwing the ball. He wasn't throwing the ball at all at one point. But okay, let's go to the book incident when he's on the sidelines and he made that man rich by pulling out that book.
It did.
Because nobody knew about that book until he pulled it out. But listen, he said that he had been pulling the book out.
Yeah.
Right? What do you mean? If he had pulled that book out any time prior to that on the sidelines during the season, somebody would have seen it. There's too many cameras, too much stuff going on. They're always watching him.
I think they did pull a bunch of like either pictures or other video clips where they did verify that. They did confirm that.
Oh,
now, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
That he had
I don't know how often he was doing it, but they did have a couple pictures, like a couple social media shots where he was reading the book on the sideline.
For some reason, that was emphasized that particular day, but he had come off the field onto the sidelines because he wasn't getting the ball thrown.
Because he was frustrated.
Yeah, he was frustrated.
That's real.
Yeah. So,
but I don't know. I just think people they want to make more of it than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this happens every day, every week.
Right. Well, that's a part of it. That's a part of the team. It's part of football. You got guys like that. Yeah. You got guys like that. And you just have to deal with it.
Yeah. And guess what? If it wins another Super Bowl, do it again.
Yep.
What you want.
Yep. Super Bowl. That's what we want. Super Bowl.
So, and we got it, bro. We got it.
We're the champs.
We destroyed.
Oh man, that's ridiculous.
We destroyed. And listen, every time I talk to you, my boy tell me, like, make sure you tell him I said hi. So my man, Jason Dunn, always says, because that's my boy I went to college with.
Right.
So he's like, make sure you tell Rev I said hi.
Tell him I said hi back. Yeah, man. And what makes it so unique for the Eagles and makes it stand out so much is they didn't blitz.
They did,
and they just messed Patrick Mahomes up. Dude, they had 23 yards in the first half.
It took him to the woodshed, bro.
With just rushing 4. And what makes Jalen Carter so exceptional, he played 80+% of the defensive plays this year.
Yes.
But I don't hear anybody saying most of the time he was fighting two players.
Double teams every play.
Most of the time. Those other players still getting through. He was fighting 2 guys. He can double team probably 80% of those 80% of the plays.
Yep.
If not more. And he just got better and stronger as the game went on, and he got better and stronger as the season went on. Man, if they can get somebody else on that front line defensively that would warrant the attention of 2 guys every now and then, man, Jalen Carter will tear some stuff up.
I think they got it because Ojomo is no joke.
Yeah, he just needs to play more. That's all.
Bill Williams was balling.
Right.
And to your point, the $104 million says so. And again, Howie's getting prepared for this Jalen Carter contract because Jalen Carter is the best defensive tackle that's been here since Reggie White.
Oh, he's gonna break the bank, bro.
Yes,
he's gonna break the bank. He keeps
Rightfully
playing like
so.
He's playing, which there's no reason why we shouldn't believe that he wouldn't keep playing the way he's playing. Right. He continues to ascend the way he is. Man, that cat's gonna break the bank.
Yeah. What's up, Stephen Kelly? That's my buddy Stephen Kelly.
What's up, Steve?
Yo, his son, that joker is a golfer and a half.
Ooh, yeah. He's on. Is he on RB's golf team?
He's in college now.
Oh, he's in college.
Steve, is he in college or is he out of college? I think, this kid got tour potential.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, he's a bad. I used to see this kid. I met Steven through Willie T. When me and Willie T used to go out to Deptford and go to that golf range out there. And Steve would be out there with his son. And this Steve, your son couldn't have been like maybe 10, 12 years old, maybe younger than that. Out there hitting balls.
Working on that game. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta work on that game. That's a game you cannot take any time off and think you're gonna go out there and be good.
Yeah, he was 10. He was 10 years old. I remember that. I remember that, man.
That's awesome.
So back in the day. Back in the day. But listen, man, we've been rocking and rolling for almost an hour and a half, bro.
That's cool. Anytime, bro. Just let me know. Anytime.
Best thing you can give somebody is your time, and I appreciate yours, bro.
Oh, listen. When I called you, you came on my show. Not that I'm returning the favor. It's not tick for tat. That's not how it is. It just is. That's the way we is.
That's the way we is.
That's the way we is.
But brother, I appreciate you. I love you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, we're gonna have to do this again.
Yeah, just let me know whenever, man. You know.
Yeah, but trying to get Scott on here, man.
Who?
Scott Teller.
Oh, you want me to call him for? You got his number?
I got his number. I talk to Scott all the time, man. But,
did he say he was coming on?
Scott doing shows and
Scott, man. You think you're a movie star? That cat there, man.
Yeah.
Did you see his post? Did you see the post of him when his wife? I can't say what it says, but his wife says to him. He put it up like 4 or 5 times. Stop buying stupid stuff. You see those posts?
I did see that.
And they see him with something looking stupid.
Yeah, man. Oh my God.
Scott is a good dude.
Scott, good people, man. Scott, good people, man. But all right, brother, I'm gonna let you get up out of here, man.
All right, bro. Anytime.
I appreciate everybody for joining us.
Yep.
Carlos, thank you again for the super chats. Everybody, Steve, Tiffany, Dark Chocolate. My mom's was in the building.
Hey, mama.
Dad was in here. Pat Ryan, I appreciate you. Carlos as usual. Cody K as usual. Appreciate the love, man. We trying to build the squad. I'm still growing. I still the goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers by the time I get to July. So that is the short-term goal, and we're going to keep on moving towards that, man. So I appreciate everybody being a member of my team. All right, we're going to get up on that here. I appreciate everybody for joining me. Be safe out there. I love you. God loves you. And go Birds.
Go Birds.